Give me your take right now. When you're talking about businesses, and right now the focus or the emphasis on automations. Everybody's talking about automations.
Yeah. And I'm a software owner. I'm also a consumer because I own a business, a home service business. I took the words automation out of our recruiting software, like 2 years ago? Because they hoard out the word. Like everyone was like, automate your recruiting, automate this. And now with the uprise of GHL, everyone is selling you a freaking GHL snapshot as an expert to automate your business. But if your business isn't efficient or you don't have good processes, you're just automating shit. You're amplifying the crap.
So anyone can have a pretty picture and say they sell automations.
Yeah, they can say it. And we personally resell GHL for $1. Like we give that account to our Sell Convert Clean users, and then we use it in WooRecruit. But where we make our money in WooRecruit is with the service, right? With the people, the service, what we're doing. We use it to create speed. But I see so many of these GHL resellers. Anyone can be a freaking tech expert right now. Anyone. There's so much technology with AI, and the GHL resell is like the new, what is it? The MLM?
Multi-level
marketing platforms where like people are just reselling it to you because they're making money. They're like literally not trying to help you. So we give our GHL account for marketing away for $1 pre-built. Like you don't go do what you want. It's to help you. But we're not selling this dream of automation, because if you have nothing to automate, or you have really, really bad processes, or you have no processes, then either you're automating crap or you have nothing to automate. So I think the word automate is overused right now. And you have to really watch, what are you putting into these GHL accounts? What are you putting into these resellers? Because if you build your website on there, you lose your website, most likely, if you don't stay with them. And so there's different ways to take this conversation. But personally, it's nauseating to see the amount of people who are now an expert because they have a snapshot to sell you.
Okay, but for the business owners out there, in the frame of mind, is me automating something is better than not doing anything? Not
true. Because what if you're automating inefficiencies? What if you're automating the chaos? What if you're automating your disorganization? What if you're automating your shitty sales process? That's not true. First, you need to practice the 1 layer deep method to make sure that I'm not, the whole buy back your time. You're not buying back inefficiencies. Is this a working process? Is it the easiest, simplest way to get to the end result? It's the action before the result. Then once you can achieve that and mark those boxes off, then can you go automate it? But you also can't necessarily buy someone else's automations, because how do you know they're not shitty? Like, how do you know? I've bought like somebody's automations for like a 12-month newsletter for my cleaning company, and it was horrible. It was like the most mundane, general, neutral newsletter you could ever buy. I don't think it did anything, nor did anyone ever open it. So I bought their crap, then automated it in my business, which created more crap that I automated.
So let me ask you this then. With as much as there is out there right now with AI and how fast people can go, and the idea that you want automations, is everybody's doing the exact same thing. How do you get around that? Especially if you're not doing it, how do you get around everybody doing the same thing at the same pace with GPT generated content?
Well, I think there's a bunch of different ways to go. First, your content, your automations have to have personality. You can still use AI for that, but that becomes prompting, knowing how to use the AI, giving it your voice, your tone, and your brand and your mission, right? So that your outputs are genuine to your brand and you and your company. So, there's that side of it too. So you can still use tech and automations, but where I get upset is like, just don't go blindly buy something from someone because they're reselling it, because they're selling you this far-fetched dream that you can automate your business and have freedom. Because if that wasn't that easy, everyone would be a fucking millionaire. Everyone. They're selling you a lie. And so you have to do the work up front. You have to make sure the processes are there. and not automated, right? You have to make sure your tone is there. You know what your branding is. You know what your marketing is. You have your processes. And then you go find the tech, the AI, the automations to help you speed that up. They can help you create them, but you still have to have a sense of what they are. AI isn't going to tell you what your tone is, what your mission is. AI is not going to tell you what your vision is. You have to get that down first. And that's that self-work, deep work. And then you can go find a person or an AI to help accelerate that. But if you're just buying blindly to like the lie of automate your business, buy my GHL account, buy my snapshot. Again, I'm not talking crap about GHL. I'm actually talking more crap about the resellers selling this lie, is that it has to have some customization to you. It has to have your tone. If you are just thinking you're buying the solution, it's not the case. We have a friend who marketing company, and we noticed that he mentioned we're now offering customized marketing for you because that is the future, because everyone looks the same right now. Customization, tone, personality is where AI and tech and snapshots and automations have a hard time. Once you get that down, then yeah, you can automate it. And I think we're going to get in a world of more and more where customization is more important. Personality, empathy, caring for your customer versus just let me automate it.
So where do you see the future of consumers going now with this flood of automations?
I see it going back. I just had a great meeting with one of my great friends, Dom, last weekend. I flew to Chicago for a couple days, and we were talking about like Facebook, Google AdWords. Everything is flooded right now. Every cleaning company, power washing, window washing, even software companies are on Facebook and Google Ads like there's no tomorrow. It's flooded. And that's because it's easy now with tech, plugins, third parties, AI. But where we see it going is back to the old school. Everything is an evolution. And I actually think if you want to make an impact in your market locally, on a local level, you have to kind of go back to old school. Like me, we were all talking, again, I went to dinner with 3 other business owners, and we're talking about going old school, in-home estimates now, doing more print.
Hey, this is William Tincup, and you should know about the You Should Know podcast. It's a topical, fun podcast with Ryan, myself, and a guest, or guests, plural sometimes, and we tackle the most timely topics of the day. Give it a look, give it a listen, and subscribe. Thanks.
Because everyone's going to that tech world of an automated world where the consumer's becoming numb to it. Numb. I can tell you right now, if you looked at my phone, I'd have a million text messages and they're all automated, and I know they're automated, and I delete them. I don't even read them. And so we're going back to everything's an evolution. And because of the compression of technology and AI and white labels, we're going back to the era of almost like in-home estimates, print, yard signs, door hangers, because that's going to be the differentiator between me and my competitor right now, because my competitor is online. So who's not online? The people that want to make a difference, the people that are growing and scaling and pivoting. And so we see that. And yes, I'm still going to use online. I'm still going to use GHL, but it's that where I'm getting upset is that you're reselling a dream that doesn't exist. So if it was as easy as buying a solution that says automate your business, gain your freedom, we'd all be multimillionaires. So it's not as easy as that. So don't buy into the far-fetched dream and think about, what is everybody else doing? I need to do the opposite. And so we do think and feel that things like long form is coming back, as far as like reels and long form content. Long form is coming back. Like one of my mentors just said it the other day in one of our trainings. Long form is coming back because reels do not make a connection. It's too short. So we see long form coming back. We also see print coming back, like door hangers, yard signs, magazines. I just met a magazine software company that lets people produce their own print and produce their own magazine. And I was thinking, that's interesting, because I thought magazines were dying. But we see that coming back. We see in-home estimates coming back for home services, because that lets us customize the quote, even if it's not customized, because we're quoting off square footage, right? But the customer feels that it's customized to them. You're making a connection. And, I also think that giving the customer the power to consume it how and when they want, how, when, and where they want, right? So one of our tools is an online quoting tool for cleaning. Well, it also works for the office, but it works for the customer. Because if they don't want you to come do an in-home estimate, no problem. Like, you can still get a price on our website. Like, want a more customized quote? We'll do an in-home estimate. So I'm not saying you have to take it all the way. I'm saying you have to meet the consumer where they're at. And right now, I think the consumers are numb to the automated process of purchasing. And you're going to really have to diversify. You're going to really have to pivot, I think, because COVID money's gone. The market's hard. It's not easy right now. We're seeing a high turnover of customers. We're seeing it being it's easier and easier to gain employees. And we're back in the pre-2020, 2018 era of where it costs a lot of money to get a customer, costs a lot of money to get a lead. When before, during COVID, there's so much money in our country, in our market, that like leads fell in our lap, literally. And so I think there's a readjustment. Like you said, Chris was talking earlier, there's a compression happening right now I have a whole nother topic I want to do on the, are you hiring the TJ Maxx and the Ross of coaches, or are you hiring real coaches that are going to give you an experience, luxury treatment, and accountability? Or are you settling for the TJ Maxx of coaches? And we see coaches popping up everywhere, like because of, again, technology. And that's for a whole nother topic. But anyone is an expert with AI. Anyone is an expert if they can white label a product. And so now our market, whether you own a business or you're a consumer, is flooded with a bunch of freaking.
Hiring sucks, right? Sorting through bad applications, ghosted interviews, and wasted time. It's all exhausting. That's why we built WootRecruit, the hiring system designed to attract and convert the right people for your business fast. What are some of the benefits? Well, you get more qualified applicants without lifting a single finger. Increase your show rate, eliminate the worry of ghosting. Track every single step of our process with real-time data. If you're tired of hiring headache, go to wootrecruit.com and let us start filling your open roles today.
Experts, right? But you have to ask yourself, if you're that coach, do you want to be an expert, or do you want to be a generalist, or do you want to be a specialist? And then for the consumer, and here's what I find interesting, is you're turned off by that automation as the consumer.
Oh, it's an instant.
You know it instantly. So why would you do that to your customers? So yes, there are some automations that are great. Like we have a short-term lead sequence, we have newsletters. The newsletters are custom. They're written on my tone, my voice. They're not an article I bought from somebody. They're not an automation that I went and purchased from someone. They're things that we made in-house that represented our company and our tone and our message.
So what you're saying is really two themes is number one is connectedness. Mm-hmm. And number two is customization, is to make sure that this new era is focusing on connecting and customizing.
Yes, connecting and customizing. Because if you're not customizing, your message is going to fall flat. It's going to fall short. And we're seeing that in WootRecruit, like with our customers. It was a buy it for you, done for you process. And that was a great starter if you don't have anything. But as people learn and grow, they want to change it and modify it to their needs. And for a long time, we pushed against it and we learned our lesson. Like, no, like let's customize it for you. You're the business owner. I don't want to tell you how to do your business. I don't want to tell you how to run. I wouldn't want anyone to tell me how to run my business. And so we learned that over the last year or two. And now, like with WootRecruit, we offer customization. Like you want to build out your whole process, we'll build it for you. You want to change it, we'll change it for you. Like no problem. But customization is huge because it's your brand, it's your tone. It attracts the customers that fit your values, your employees that fit your values. And I think the blanket of like, let me buy a snapshot is a great maybe starter, but you still got to put in the work. Like you still, no matter what, like you still have to put in the work. I cannot hire any marketing company anywhere, and I have great friends that own them. And they could shoot me when I say this. They're going to give you a foundation, but you still have to put in the work because they don't know your brand and your tone and your message and your values and your mission and your vision. You still have to put in the work to make sure that message hits where you're trying to hit, the pain, the problem.
So for those people out there, for the phrase that I dread is, can I get a snapshot?
Can I get a snapshot?
So what you're saying is that we need to really make sure that if you're asking that question, that there's due diligence after that in making sure that it's your tone and it creates a sense of connectedness. Otherwise, it just falls flat in the noise.
Yeah, like for everyone who for everyone who signs up for Sell Convert Clean, we gave them a GHL account for $1, right? And I gave them everything I had in the Woot Recruit sub account. And I purposely left Organize It. I'm sorry, not Woot Recruit. Wrong company. Too many companies. I gave everyone everything I had in the Organize It company. But I purposely left my tone and my brand, everything in there on purpose. And Chris, you asked me, you're like, are you sure you want to leave the Organize It stuff in there? I'm like, yeah. Because you have to go change it. You have to go and look at it. You have to go and read it. And my intention was, you have to change it.
So the automations will only get you half the way there.
Yeah.
But you still got to put in the effort.
You still have to put in the work. And there was a great question that come up in one of the groups. You know, I need a new website. Like, where do you recommend I build a website? And everyone's like, this platform, that platform. And I'm like, I wouldn't recommend those. They're great for funnel pages, but not for your core website. Your core website, you need to own it. Yes, you can hire someone to build it, but I have seen so many websites held hostage when I decide to cancel with my marketing company and they don't give it back to them. And you've lost all that traction, all that SEO, whatever you paid them. If you paid them to do blogs, you lose all of that. And so people are always looking for the cheap solution, but you get what you pay for. And that's not in every instance. I've seen some people pay a lot of money for a website and still get held hostage. But you need to make sure you ask the right questions up front, even when you're signing up for a GHL account or signing up for a website or you're working with a marketing company. And I'm not claiming that you know anything about marketing, although I do know quite a bit about marketing, but I'm not selling marketing. But the questions you need to ask is like, if I cancel service with you, can I keep that GHL account? Can I keep that snapshot? Can I keep my website? Do I get to keep the blogs? Do I get to keep the tech? Do I get to even keep the leads? I've seen people lose their leads because they chose not to stay with the reseller. And that's shitty. And I've seen people lose their whole websites and lose their blog pages. And that's not fair. But that's what happens when you sign up, sometimes with a third party, if you don't ask the right questions. I mean, it's a common trend I've seen in one of the marketing lawn care companies. And that's not cool. When someone makes you say, I have to remake your website on our platform, red flag. Or we'll make it on our platform. Great. Ask, do I own it when I cancel service with you? At the end of the day, and I'm a vendor of many of my friends and many of our peers and many of our people in our industry, I don't take it personal. I'm still friends with people who use me, didn't use me, came back, canceled, you name it. But you have to ask that question because a vendor is not forever.
That's a great statement.
No, a vendor is not forever. You will cancel service with a vendor eventually. I would say most vendors have a life cycle of like 3 years, 5 if they stay innovative, but a vendor is not forever. And so you have to ask that difficult question up front is if I sign up with your white label, if I sign up with your GHL account, if I use you for a website, what happens when we cancel service?
So this goes back to really, I guess, your philosophy and help me here. But you said that your goal is to make sure that how people come into your life, or let's say your companies, you need to make sure that they leave better than the way they came in.
Yes. Same thing with vendors, customers, as me as a vendor of them, a vendor of us. They have to leave better than we found them. They have to be more staffed, more employees, growing. There isn't anything that we won't give them when they leave us. Obviously, I'm not going to give them like our industry things, but like we had a customer cancel the other day and she's like, you taught me everything I need to know. I feel confident I can do it on my own. And so our ops team was kind of disappointed and I was kind of like happy. I'm like, I can't even say anything. I can't even feel bad. I can't even argue it. I did my job. And so it's the same thing. Yeah. Like you said, with employees is with people that interact with me, whether you're coaching or you're recruit customer, your sell, convert, clean customer, as long as you left me better than the way I found you, then that's all that matters. It's interesting because I see people that interact and they have a scarcity mindset or an abundance mindset, right? Scarcity is like, it's funny because in our growth and in launching this book and preparing everything and buying another software, I have made a lot of people not like me. And I can see it because they unfollow you, they unfriend you, they block you, and you're kind of like, oh, that's interesting.
Let's be honest. You have a I Hate Libby fan club.
Yeah, I hate Libby fan club, and that's interesting because I haven't done anything to them personally. Because if I have enough time to do that, then I need to be doing more shit. Like busy people don't have time for that kind of stuff. But it's interesting, and it's the difference between like leaving you better than we found each other. Is that abundance mindset? Is that if you don't use me, I'm fine. Like if you don't believe the stuff we're doing or saying and preaching, I'm fine. But if you're like, I'm gonna block you because you're like, I don't like you, or you're my competitor. So in my Facebook groups, I have coaches in there, and I'm a coach. I don't block them. I told that to somebody that was out in Chicago with. I said, I'm gonna have to block you now out of my Facebook group because you're coaching. And they were like, are you serious? I'm like, no, I'm joking. I was like, no, I'm joking. Because it's an abundance mindset. Not every person is for a customer for everyone. But I think it's a great topic. As AI comes out, there's more and more AI platforms launching. It's the speed of technology and acceleration and the compression of certain things that we see happening is that everyone is a fucking expert right now. Everyone. I can ChatGPT anything and read it to you while I'm looking at my monitor, and I'm an expert.
Storytelling doesn't mean anything anymore.
No, it doesn't. And you have to say, am I signing up with a generalist, an expert? Am I using an expert or a generalist? Or am I looking for an experience? Am I looking for a specialist? Someone who specializes in how I feel and the pain I'm going through and the struggles that I'm feeling right now, which is something to be said. And I don't think it has to be industry specific. I resonate so much with people in lawn care and commercial cleaning, landscaping, roofing, like you name it. I don't think it's industry specific. I think it's where you're at and the pain that you're currently in, like the struggle, the bottleneck that you're currently facing. Because business is business. No matter if you're 1 million or 3 million or 5 million, it's the same issue evolving.
So the real secret behind all this and the abundance of automations is knowing what you want is really at the end of everything.
Yeah. And I mean, you could ask a lot of business owners, they don't know what they want. They don't know. And that's like that deep work because either they don't think they deserve it. What if they fail? So they don't want to admit it. They don't want to say it out loud. But, and this has nothing to do with revenue. Like so many people and so many coaches are out there like, set your revenue goal. Yes, revenue is a marker, but it's also a superficial marker. Like I could be $3 million and have no profit. So what does that matter? So I think revenue is a superficial marker or an ego marker versus like, what do you really want? As in for yourself and your family and your kids and your marriage and your employees versus I want to be $3 million. It's superficial. It's an easy out when I say 3 million versus doing that deep work and saying like, oh my God, I can't get to next level leadership until I do this. And then I can't do this until I do this. And seeing how they compound and they stack.
Great. So taking automations with a grain of salt and really executing on it. Not the season of automations, but the season of execution.
Season, yes, of execution. And for the love of God, sometimes we need to stop learning, stop reading, stop consuming, and just go fucking execute. Get it done. Go execute. Money loves speed. And when you're slow, you wonder why your profit sucks. You wonder why you're not growing. Money loves speed.
Hiring sucks, right? Sorting through bad applications, ghosted interviews, and wasted time. It's all exhausting. That's why we built WootRecruit, the hiring system designed to attract and convert the right people for your business fast. What are some of the benefits? Well, you get more qualified applicants without lifting a single finger. Increase your show rate, eliminate the worry of ghosting. Track every single step of our process with real-time data. If you're tired of hiring headache, go to wootrecruit.com and let us start filling your open roles today.